Good morning and a happy Monday to you folks. It's a brand new week, brand new opportunities, and even though it is cold outside across Shale Play USA, there's also an abundance of warmth and generosity and gratefulness for the energy that produces the warmth in their homes and their cars as they continue about their daily lives. So always believe something wonderful is about to happen. Never downgrade your dreams to match your reality. Upgrade your belief to match your vision. Today is going to be a brand new week, folks. Let's do it and get this Monday morning started.
It's time to play hard, work hard. Now, let's play hard.
I don't need nobody to tell me who to be. Don't need nobody to tell me what I see. I don't need
Welcome to the Crude Life Morning Show. Play hard, work hard. My name is Jason Spiess, live in the DJ Basin here with Shawn Forbes from, is it Oilfield Sourcing? I don't even have my notes with me.
Oilfield Sourcing.
There we go.
.com. Thank you.
.com. And filling in for Sterling today, Frackleberry Hound is chewing on a Chewy Paws bone in the background. Actually, not a bone as much as an antler. We'll have to maybe manipulate that on the... No, this is live, so we don't actually do any editing on this.
No.
So watch your words, Shawn Forbes.
I'll try. It's not easy.
I might have to actually take that away from her because Frackleberry Hound is all about the Chewy Paws antlers. So anyway, folks, we got a fantastic show coming today. And we're going to talk a little bit about some Valentines. We're going to talk about some events happening over the next couple of weeks here in Shale Play USA, as well as what else do we have coming up here? But the Women's Energy Network as well of Colorado.
Yep.
It's not nationwide yet.
No, it's international.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Oh,
and there are chapters nationwide. So.
This is why you're here today, is to kind of keep my focus, because I've got so many things going in so many different directions. Like last night, I didn't do anything. I spent it alone in my hotel room with my dog, eating soup for one under a lonely light bulb, and it was swinging for some reason. I don't even have a fan in my room, but it was so pathetic. The light bulb was swinging, hanging from the ceiling, eating soup for one.
I think I made a crock pot soup last night too, so
Another successful Valentine's Day.
very exciting for both of us.
Oh, you didn't do anything either?
No,
And you're married.
I am.
So you didn't up your game, he didn't up his game. It's just...
No, we're not really big into holidays and, feeling forced into celebrating someone on a certain day when you should do that on a daily basis. So, Christmas, we don't really buy each other gifts, or Valentine's Day, it's not that
Oh, you guys are all
big
the
of
way
a
to
deal.
Christmas too.
Yeah. The only thing I really care about is Mother's Day, because I am a mom, so I feel like, that deserves some amount of recognition and thankfulness.
From your children or from your husband?
From everyone
Oh,
in the
just-
entire world.
Just
yeah.
the grocery store
It's like,
attendant.
congratulations.
You go to the grocery store. Damn it, I'm a mother. Where's my free cookie?
That's right. That's right.
Something or another.
And my child's alive. She survived. So I get
it's-
credit for that.
I find that when people are dating for more than a couple years, or they get married, the Valentines and Christmases and all that kind of goes away. And
Yeah, I think we did that stuff the first year, and then we decided that it wasn't really that important.
variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's financial.
Sure.
Sometimes it's just, like what you said, that, hey, I prefer to actually have some sort of affection every day, whether it's a note or it's a random flower or whatever the case, just something different to keep me on my toes or whatever it might be. And then there's those that just don't believe in the Hallmark holiday of Valentine's Day.
Right, or the pressure, of really having to go out and get somebody something that maybe they didn't want. I think one year my husband tried to buy me a fishing vest because I love to fish. And
Very bold move for a man, by the
Yeah.
way, on Valentine's Day. What'd you get your wife? Fishing vest sounds cool to
well,
guys.
I mean, he's okay. He bought me one year. He
I'm
bought
not
me.
sure if wine with the girls it goes over as well, but go on.
Yeah, he bought me a fishing GPS one year for
GPS?
something. No, and that was probably the best thing he ever bought me. I was so happy about that. But he bought me a fishing vest one year, and I thought, well,
Sexy.
I don't really like it, And
So
so,
with this GPS, he can track you.
No, it's
Oh.
the coolest little contraption. It looks like a little ball, like a tennis ball, and it has a little rivet on the end, and you can tie your line to it, and you cast it out, and it has Bluetooth that connects to your phone or its own Wi-Fi, and it's like a little fish finder, so you can see where the fish are. So
Are you
then you
kidding
cast
me?
out. No.
So it's like a bobber.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
exactly like a bobber, but it's a fish
it's
finder.
a camera.
Not a camera.
So it's like a radar.
It's a fish finder.
LiDAR.
Yeah.
Sonar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Sonar.
even know what
Yes,
that-
it's called
what-
deeper sonar.
Oh, it is sonar. I have
Yep.
no idea what kind of technology exists in the fish finders these days
Yeah.
because have you ever gone ice fishing?
No, but I'm about to.
Okay, so ice fishing is one of the most ridiculous things you'd ever
No,
encounter.
because you can sit on the ice and drill a hole and drink whiskey.
No, I get it.
and
It's
have a good time.
listen.
And catch
I love
fish. And
hanging
catch
out.
fish. Yeah.
Okay, and my idea is ice fishing is not like other people's ideas of ice fishing. Okay, so to me, ice fishing is 70 to 75 degree weather. You do not have a jacket on. Okay, t-shirt, maybe a hooded sweatshirt. You've got either alcohol or if you're in Colorado, the legal grass substance. Okay, and you're watching football. You're watching movies. You're watching grumpy old men, you know. There's electricity out there. Okay, there's a generator, or
Yeah.
I've been to ones where they've got direct TV with the NFL ticket. Okay, that's ice fishing to
Right.
me.
Yeah, me
okay?
too.
I get a call one day, a friend of mine from college. Hey, it's so nice outside. Let's go ice fishing, which is messed up in itself, by the way. I mean, it is so nice outside. Let's go stand on a frozen lake. That's ridiculous.
It sounds terrible to
Okay,
me
that's
too,
a little
but it's fishing, so you kind of have to deal with it.
Yeah, well, that's a life check moment in my book. That I'm actually in a point in my life or in an area of geography where it's so nice outside. We're going to go stand on a frozen lake. Not worried that the frozen lake might melt.
Right.
No, that we're going to go catch some fish. Well, we get out there, and of course, like I said, I'm used to the glamping of ice fishing. And this was before the ice castles came around and the little, what do they call them? The tiny homes that are ice shacks. Because where I'm from, up in the Dakotas, Minnesota, people were doing this long time ago with OSB board and plywood, and they would hand make them or whatever. And
A little shack.
yeah, but it would be insulated, and they'd have wheels on them or whatever the case might be. So we get there, and he just flips over some 5-gallon buckets and drills holes. Like, he expected another human to just sit out in the middle of a lake in the open where the wind is coming through at a steady 15. Just, that's regular. And he just thought that would be a fun thing to do. I in no way have ever understood how that could be just enjoyable for anybody. That's not, I don't even know who that'd be enjoyable to. Do you enjoy sitting out in 15, in say 30 degree weather where there's a 15 mile an hour wind coming in at, a good clip?
No, and I've been in North Dakota when it's been negative temperatures with blowing snow, and that's not where I want to be. I want to be in the truck
Right.
with the heater on.
At least.
Yeah.
So these ice fishing things, we used to have an eel pout tournament up on Leech Lake, Walker, Minnesota. Legendary. Go ahead and everybody go Google eel pout tournament. And if it's not the number of DUIs that comes up as the actual headline on Google News, I'll eat my hat. Because every year, that's always the number one thing. 4,000 DUIs administered at eel pout. And then people one year would bring hot tubs, and they brought them in because it was a huge tournament. Eel pout is a bottom feeding fish, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like an eel.
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. They're ugly.
But they're delicious because they're
Yeah.
from the cod family. From the cod family. Cod, of course, is a very delicious fish, much like halibut. Cod would be kind of the stepchild of halibut, I would imagine, at least by the pricing on the menus I go to. Boy, this started out as a Valentine's Day discussion, by the way.
And we're talking about fishing, which I could talk all day.
Ice fishing.
Yeah. Well, I haven't ice fished.
We never got to my
yet,
point, by the way.
But I love fishing in general.
So
like fly fishing. I love deep sea fishing. I lake fish here in Colorado. I catch a lot of trout, but I have not done ice fishing. So,
but we need to go back to
I have to.
your best Valentine's gift,
Yeah.
which was the fish finder bobber. Okay.
Well, that wasn't Valentine's. That was a Christmas present.
Oh, it's even better.
The
Okay,
vest.
great.
The vest was a fail.
Was a fail?
Yeah, because I'm not going to wear a fishing vest. I have my little box of supplies, so I don't need
Oh, was it
a
fail?
vest. Yeah.
Oh.
No,
good.
he bought it for me, and then that was probably the last year he bought me a gift because I was just unexcited.
You can't
I was
handle
unexcited
rejection.
about it. Yeah, and then he just said, "Well, you normally just go buy whatever
Been there too.
you need and want, so you're on your own."
Yeah, all right, too scarred on that deal. I'll try and take my ball and go home on that one.
Yeah, it was
Take my
it was,
bobber and go home.
It was
No.
it was the thought that counted.
So the where we got off on our little sidebar, which ended up in eel pout, is that this bobber you got as sonar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my fish finder, because that's what we're used to on Minnesota lakes and Dakota lakes, is fish find sonar type
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
thing, like a little
The
little
Garmin
blip.
Lowrance. Yeah.
For those people over the age of say 40, the electronic football blip that comes out, the little dash, the Pong guy you're moving around. For anybody under the age of 40, a hyphen on your computer. That's what would show up as a fish. Ice fishing now, you actually have cameras. So what they have is they have a camera that you put down into the lake next to your bait. And you can actually see what the fish is looking at your bait. So if you want to play with it and jig it or do whatever, you can. If you don't like the fish, you can get it away. Some people don't like northerns. I prefer
Yeah, if they're
northerns.
too small, you don't want to have to deal with getting the hook out of a small fish. I know I don't.
I'm a catch and release guy, so
Yeah,
it
well,
doesn't
me
matter
too.
to
But
me.
sometimes it depends on the bait. If you're using worms, sometimes they swallow the worms and you can't get it out, and they end up being dinner.
What kind of fisherman are you? Are you like one of those golfers that do not allow you to talk on the golf course? And if you
Oh, no, I
actually
want
are
music.
on the fringe,
I'm
you
like
have
Happy
to use
Gilmore.
a
No.
pitching wedge and not a putter. No, that's what the rules say. So when it
No.
comes to fishing, you like music and
Oh yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you're all about keeping the fish away.
Yeah, I'm about a good time, and if we catch fish, that's a bonus.
I like the fishermen that are like, you can't talk, scares the fish.
You're gonna scare the fish away.
Yeah.
No, that's kids throwing rocks.
You get a half
So
hour for
that's kind of
lunch where you
annoying
get to
sometimes.
speak. The kids are skipping rocks and
Yeah.
jumping in and
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll fish on this side of the boat.
Right.
Isn't that fun? But they still catch fish.
Right.
Still catch fish.
Yeah, it's
So
an art.
getting back to Valentine's Day, I told the story last week, but I'll tell it to you. My worst Valentine's ever, because as long as we're talking about fails, or I like to call them biblically bad dates. By the way, folks, this is the Crude Life Morning Show. Play hard, work hard. Shawn Forbes is the female your voice you're hearing. She's in for Sterling today. My name is Jason Spiess, and we're just kind of talking a little bit before we get into some industry events and some women in energy, as she's on the board of directors for the Colorado Women's Energy Network.
Colorado chapter. Yep. And before we go any further, I wanted to thank Jason for having me on the show today. I brought him a bottle of wine.
Oh,
And it's from my favorite.
a little early for that, but
it's
that's
from
okay.
my favorite
it's never too
winery,
early.
the Prisoner Wine Company, and this is called Cuttings. And
That bottle says prison on it. Jason Spiess.
it's perfect for
Must have
you.
Googled my name.
So Cuttings is a small cuttings it occurs in drilling. So when you're drilling, you get little rock that comes up out of the hole, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to deal with it and get rid of it. But so those are called cuttings, and this wine is called Cuttings.
Let me take a look at that.
It's a Cabernet.
It's a Cabernet. I do like Cabernets.
I hope
I'm a
you enjoy
Red
it.
fan.
Hope you enjoy it.
Cuttings. All right. Bottled by the Prisoner Wine Company out of Oakville, California.
Yeah.
Nice.
Napa
well, thank
Valley.
you very much.
You're welcome.
Can't wait to try this. Like getting booze on the air. It's always fun.
Right. So tell me about your
Not like our buddy JP Warren, who's got high-end booze coming in every show. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So biblically bad date that I had was I had probably my longest girlfriend, actually, of 7.5 years. 1 year I wanted to do a special Valentine's for her. Because she liked my romantic tendencies. I'm a Libra, so I like to be.
So am I.
Okay, so you probably like romance.
I do.
Okay. Or you probably like to give it.
I'm a giver. Yes.
Yeah, see, I'm the
I like
same
to see the joy when I
Yes.
give something to someone. So yeah.
I've been called a hopeless romantic, an idiot romantic, that all the above type thing. So one year I filled her whole room with balloons. So I spent all day blowing balloons up, this and that, and got a roommate to let me in, and flowers, rose petals on the bed, and card, and just everything, right? But it was the streamers from the ceiling. I mean, I bet I spent 2 hours in this room just decorating it, right?
Reds and pinks and whites.
Red, pinks, and whites,
Yep.
exactly.
Okay.
And thematic all the way.
Yeah, I love themes.
And when she got in there, it was too much. Too much.
You overwhelmed her?
Overwhelmed her. The balloons had some trigger that weren't good. She stepped on one. It popped. It scared her. It popped another one. It was like an episode of 30 Rock or Parks and Rec or whatever. It's The Office. It was like the most biblically bad reality comedy if it's not you.
Sure.
So if you're watching it and if you're not Jason Spiess, it's hilarious. But if you're living the life of Jason Spiess,
You're
going,
mortified.
Oh, she's dumping me on
no.
Valentine's Day. Not only am I not getting lucky, I'm not even going to get anything. It hurts. But she, of course, appreciated the gesture and understood, and because she was a romantic, she could
Appreciate the gesture, I'm sure.
But in the future, she was very specific about what she would like for Valentine's Day, and let's just say it was a lot of dinners and jewelry, and I was very appreciative of that.
I
'cause,
see.
well, it was we were younger.
Yeah.
What was my first gift to her? A Black Hills gold necklace. Oh, right. That was when you were like 16, 17. That was a big.
That's a big deal.
High
Yeah.
school sweetheart. So right, yeah.
No, that's big. That's a big deal.
That is. Did you have any biblically bad dates that you had besides your fishing vest? As long as we're on the Valentine's topic.
I can't think of any.
I can't imagine.
I've been married with my husband since 2001, so I'm so old I can't remember beyond
9/11
beyond
that
then.
brought you together?
It was.
Was
Yeah.
it really?
It was.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no. So 2 weeks
Shut
after.
up, my snarky remark was
No.
actually real?
Yes,
Awesome. I love
and
when
I
that happens.
and it's weird
How
because
serendipitous.
it's weird because I've never really told the story to our friends and family until this past September 11th.
Oh, hang on. Here, I was getting excited. I was going to get some music ready, like we had an exclusive story.
Yes. Oh,
but
no.
never mind. You've already shared it. All right.
Sorry, not publicly.
Sloppy
not
second
publicly.
story. All right, let's just get into it.
Not
here.
publicly though, but
Oh, so this is a world.
it is. It's a
premiere.
world premiere.
Oh,
Dun, dun, dun.
where's our music from MTV? All right.
No, so September 11th happened, and 2 weeks later, I was invited to a fundraiser for the firemen's firefighters family fund fundraising event. That's a tongue twister.
May I pause?
Yes.
Is your husband a firefighter?
He is not,
Okay.
but it was downtown Hollywood. I was living in LA at the time, so
So you just got invited?
yeah, I just got invited.
That's how cool she is, folks.
Yeah.
Just- firefighters, first responders, the number one draw in the world after 9/11, and Shawn Forbes just gets invited to the party. That's all. So
Yeah. Well,
in Hollywood,
it was a fundraiser, so they weren't too particular about who showed up to
You want to bet?
give them money.
They're very particular about who shows up to the fundraisers. They don't invite just any old schlub from the street. But anyways, go on.
So anyway, my best friend and I were leaving the event and saw a really cute guy at a bar and talked to him that night, and we've been together ever since. So I feel like September 11th tragedy brought about something like beautiful in our relationship. So yeah,
Well, you know what they say, with under the ashes rises the phoenix.
that's right.
So no matter what, anything that is devastating in your life, okay, well, now that that's done, what is growing out of it? So instead of just focusing on the dead ash, no. Who's that hot guy at the bar?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just right, isn't it? Or what's the next career? You know, that type of thing. That's why in the oil and gas industry, on our lunch that we had with Stephanie Canales, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But, you know, one of the things we did talk about was just, here you got the president and John Kerry, who's a former presidential candidate. These are some very influential people, okay? Just cavalierly saying, oh, go build solar panels. I mean, that's a jackass thing to say. Mm. And so just I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of off on my little tangent there about how it's just...
Moving forward.
Right now, so many people are in ashes, okay? And they are trying to figure out their phoenix. So when you have very influential people just directing traffic, that's what I'm trying to say, is that it's a little bit condescending just to say to people, oh, just go do this. Because there's a lot of people looking for help right now.
Right. They don't have the financial means to do these things.
Or just the intelligence on how to navigate the system that is currently before them. We were talking before earlier about just the whole masks thing. Like, the extra steps if you're in sales now. Remembering the mask. And not only that, but okay, if you're traveling, where's my hotel key? Which pocket is it in? Because I've got masks and keys and all kinds of different things in so many pockets. And if I put my cell phone in the same pocket as my hotel key, it's going to erase it. So then my hotel key doesn't work. You got all these new, I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
In the mask, it's like...
No, the masks I have a very small face. So the regular adult size masks don't fit my face. So I'm constantly having to tie the backs of them to fit. And I find... I can't see much because the mask is impeding my vision. And so I buy children's masks now.
Up in my part of the country, we have to wear a stocking cap a lot of times, right? A hat. And so I've got one with a big eyeball on it, and it's got little brands that come down. My issue is the ears. Trying to get the thing off and on and with sunglasses on and this and that and everything. That's where I'm about losing my shit. Yeah. That I'm about ready to snap. And has nothing to do with the health ramifications, has nothing to do with the where's your mask and how everybody's a hall monitor now. It's just that it's just one more thing that I got to add to my day when I'm trying to take things away from my days.
Simplify.
Exactly. Now I got to keep adding this and that. So speaking of adding, folks, coming up next, we're going to ask you to add a few events to your calendar. In fact, you're going to be heading to a Energy Strong event in Casper, Wyoming, and that's why actually Shawn Forbes has stopped by. She's on her way up to Casper, Wyoming to visit some fine folks at the event I believe it's being spearheaded by Energy Strong is what I believe is the email I saw from you, if my memory serves me correctly. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll talk about that, plus more events coming up, and then in the latter part of the program, we're going to have some Women's Energy Network talk, as well as just kind of that Oil Woman magazine, just there's all kinds of new life being put into the oil and gas world when it comes to females, and about time. Very dominated by men for a long time. And listen, I'm only in 10 years, so I'm not going to speak on any soapbox. I'll let you guys do that, and that's why you're here. So thank you for that, by the way. That is Shawn Forbes. My name is Jason Spiess. We're going to take a brief pause. When we come back, we are going to be talking about some industry events, folks. So get your... I don't even know what to say anymore.
Get your notebook. Get your notepad.
I used to say pencil and pen, but get your Schedule-E ready, your whatever, your Google.
Your notes on your cell phone app ready.
Your calendar app ready. This is the Crude Life Morning Show. Play hard, work hard.
I feel alright. Well, I'm doing okay. I'm here for the moment, knowing that I'm on my way. I came and I said what I have to say. I just as soon be on my way.
Interested in becoming a sponsor? Email studio@thecrudelife.com. The music heard on the Crude Life Morning Show, Play Hard, Work Hard, is by the Moody River Band. The Crude Life, Play Hard, Work Hard, is sponsored in part by...
If you have natural gas leases and are looking to sell them, Swan Energy wants to talk to you today. Give them a call at 866-539-0860. That's 866-539-0860. Swan Energy is buying up natural gas leases, and they may buy yours too. Give them a call today.
The industrial forest.
It takes an industry to build a forest. Hey folks, Jason Spiess with the Crude Life. Did you know about half the trees planted in the last 20 to 30 years have died within the first year? Lack of watering, transplant shock, special interest groups, poor growing conditions are just a few reasons it takes an industry to build a forest, and that is exactly what the industrial forest does. Sustainability sheds, critical pipeline systems are implemented to ensure the forest survives and absorbs carbon for decades to come. It takes an industry to build a forest. If you're interested in sustainable forests, growing industry jobs, check out theindustrialforest.com. That's theindustrialforest.com.
Play hard, work hard. Now, let's play hard.
Welcome back to the Play Hard, Work Hard morning show. My name is Jason Spiess. Shawn Forbes is sitting directly across from me here live from the DJ Basin. Of course, Shawn Forbes comes to us with oilfieldsourcing.com.
That's right.
Now, what is oilfieldsourcing.com?
So oilfieldsourcing.com is an oil and gas directory for service companies and suppliers to create business profiles so that buyers and engineers can find their services, kind of like an oil and gas yellow pages. So if you provide services to the oil field, you should log on and create a business listing so
But
people
you
can
also
find
have
you.
events.
I also have events. I advertise all oil and gas events for all basins in the United States, and Canada is slowly coming into the site. I'm focusing on the U.S. now, but Canada is also, I think I have one or two Canadian events right now, but focusing on all U.S. basins right now.
Well, yeah, you don't want to turn away anybody's business, but at the same time, you have to focus on a market first. And,
Right.
You know, and I imagine you probably started in your backyard here in the DJ and Permian first, because the Permian's only, 8 hours, 10 hours away?
Yeah. No, as far as supporting those basins,
Well, you got to go get some sales calls in, that
Oh.
sort of thing, yeah.
Well, so I've worked in oil and gas for 16 years now, and I've supported
so
pretty
you
much
got all kinds of contacts.
all basins, in
Yeah,
the
never
U.S.
mind.
So I don't necessarily have to drive anywhere. I can just send emails and pick up the phone. And
Well, you were mentioning, though, that you were spending some time down in the Permian when you first started this, though.
not necessarily the Permian. I've supported the lower part of Texas.
I'm
The
sorry,
Eagle
that's
Ford,
right,
the
it was on
Eagle
the other
Ford,
side.
the
That's
Eagle
right.
Ford. I think when I worked for Encana, I supported the Eagle Ford and the eastern side of Texas, and then the Mississippian, which is Louisiana area over there too.
Haynesville, too.
Haynesville,
Over there,
yeah. Dallas,
My
Plano.
apologies. I got my.
It's okay. This is an educational show, Jason.
Well, not in the first hour. It's not. There's no math in the first hour. Second hour, we work hard. We actually have to be serious. But the first hour, we don't want to think too hard. We just want, we want to do events. Tell people where to go.
There's a lot of fun things coming up.
That sort of thing, But I did want to mention, though, you've got this directory. Your main focus is your directory. That's your bread and butter. So
Absolutely.
That's how you make your money.
My goal is to connect people, connect buyers and sellers,
Right.
connect everyone in the industry, and one of those things is by events. When we go to events, we meet new people, we create new contacts, and it's a way of keeping our industry connected. So,
But you also have articles.
I do have articles.
That if people would like to blog, they can. You will put out some from time to time, but
Yep.
really you'd like to get other people to utilize the platform and to be another outlet, And
Yeah.
what I used to tell people, because I do a lot of writing, and when I started writing for the newspapers, like the Bismarck Tribune, started writing for some national magazines, they wanted the stories exclusive. So I kind of had to pull back. But if I write an article, okay, and I used to write a lot, and actually that's what I did last night for Valentine's Day. I actually wrote, that's why I'm here actually in Colorado, is first and foremost, I'm here for my writing career, okay? The Crude Life is actually secondary, which is kind of weird right now because I'm here in Colorado because my next book is coming out shortly. Yes.
What is it about?
It's called The Book of G. It's very interesting. Whether whether your higher power is God or it's Gaia, which is Mother Earth, or it's a guy or a girl, because a lot of times a guy or a girl will direct your daily momentum
Sure.
versus a higher power. Some people are so devoted to God that that's what directs their daily. Okay. Some people are so devoted to the Gaia, which is the Mother Earth. They're devoted to that. Some people, their spouse or somebody that they're in love with is their devotion.
Yeah.
So it has to do with that, but at the same time, it has to do with entitlement. So it's a story about how entitlement is attractive until you understand what entitlement is. And then you realize how destructive it is. But it's by following whatever your G is. So
Yeah, it's whatever motivates you.
right. And so it's to be written almost like, it's episodic. So we've gone through a few changes with it, but at the end of the day, it's going to be episodic. So it'll be we're trying to decide if it's going to be weekly or every 2 weeks or monthly, but this is like a $60,000 word story. I mean, this is like, there's a lot, even more than that.
Like a cereal.
Oh no, this would be a good sized book if it was an actual book. But nobody reads books anymore. I mean, they do, but not really. So we're going to put it out in episodes.
I listen to books, so
what we're
Same
trying to do
concept.
is we're trying to take the Netflix Mind Hunter series, the Justified 13 series FX, how that's kind of the new thing. You got 8 to 13 episodes for a season. We're going to do it with the book. We're going to have, so it'll be an annual fee. You just pay. So that's how you buy the book. But every week or every 2 weeks or every month, a new chapter comes out.
I love it.
And it's designed to be a half hour to 45 minutes of reading. That's why I want to do it weekly.
Yeah.
Because I want people to just every week spend a half hour and read, spend 45 minutes and read. But I don't want to go too much more than that. Because
Yeah, no, that's perfect because people have, so little time and they have to decide what to spend their time on. And that's perfect amount of time.
the very few people have read the preview of it. They said that they've said it's like nothing they've ever seen, nothing like they've ever read before, which makes me happy because that was the intention.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not a, I was born an original and I want to die an original. I don't want to be a carbon copy, I mean,
you've had life-changing events too that have made you have a different perspective on life. So I feel like this is born from that.
What people don't understand about me is that I went 18 days without food and water. Okay. When I went through my cancer battle, not only did I fight the medical system for 3 years and they told me that I had something I didn't have because of checking boxes. Okay. Whole different story there. All right. But I went 18 days without food and water. Okay. When you have a son that is not even a teenager at the time. Okay. Every time you close your eyes thinking, this might be it. This might be the last time I'm alive. Because all you have in your life right now is an IV hooked up to you, giving you, I called it horchata, because it was this big bag of some milky substance that was potassium. And, there was like a couple things like that, right?
Yep.
But it said made in Mexico. And it was the bag that was made in Mexico, not the ingredients. And so I called it my Mexican
That was your food.
horchata.
Yeah.
Every day I'm drinking my horchata, but I couldn't even have water. Twice a day, I could take a little bit of swab and swab my mouth just because of hydration issues and dry mouth. But otherwise, I couldn't even drink water.
Yeah.
Because I had C. diff. You get C. diff if you're healthy. So, yeah, it's a whole different thing. Anyway, so my point is, I'm not even sure what my point is at this point.
I just said you've had life-changing events that kind of led you maybe to write this book.
So, yeah, that's all the book is about. It's about some very up and down emotional things. It's very relatable to the average person. And one of the persons actually just cried reading the summary. So, anyway, that's what I've been working on here. That's why I'm
get it done.
Here.
Get it done. Yeah. So we can all enjoy it.
It was supposed to be done in February, but COVID, and we'll blame 9/11 too. we're not done blaming 9/11 yet. Remember how that was the excuse for like 10 years, and now COVID's going to be the excuse? Well,
Yeah.
my business failed because
Well, now it's the president. Blame the president. Past
we
president,
blame
current president.
So let's talk about some events happening. You're on your way to an Energy Strong event. They're back at doing events again up in Casper, Wyoming. I know they had one last year up there, and so that's why I believe it's called the Powder River Rising 2.
Yep, Powder River
Do
Rising.
a sequel to their one last year they had. So I'm good to see they're back at it, and the events are back on. You think it's going to be a pretty big one?
I think it's going to be a huge event. I mean, everyone's been itching to get out and
Wait a minute.
see people.
This is Monday, so it's tomorrow. It's on Tuesday. Is that right?
It's on Tuesday.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we set the table correctly before
Tuesday the 16th.
we invite people for dinner here. So
That's right.
Okay, so talk to me about this event. What's going on?
Yeah, so it's sponsored.
Which are available at oilfieldsourcing.com.
That's right. So all the events I talk about today, you can find at oilfieldsourcing.com. Click on events. You can search and find events by keyword, by date, by category of
Let's get to
events,
the event. They'll get it. They'll figure it out.
by state
all
or
adults.
region. So if you're in Pennsylvania, you can search by Pennsylvania and find an event there. Anyway, so this one, the Powder River Rising 2, is sponsored by Apex Wellhead and 1776 Energy Services.
Are they Colorado companies? Wyoming companies? I'm not familiar
I
with.
don't know where they're based.
Okay.
I would imagine, maybe. But Energy Strong is involved, and our favorite oil and gas guy, DRW, David Ramsden Wood, is going to be there speaking at the event. So,
Now, who's he? I'm not familiar with him.
so DRW is kind of an authority in our industry as far as, equity and pricing and futures and, what oil and gas companies should be focusing on and what they shouldn't be focusing on. And he's definitely someone to follow. He's been kicked off of LinkedIn before because of his unfiltered opinions about COVID and other things that have impacted not only our industry but
Very passionate
society.
individual.
He's a very passionate.
That's how I like instead of controversial, I
Yes,
say passionate.
I always
because-
say that. I always say passionate. I used to work with a guy at Encana, and he would throw his phone and just crash, break his computer
that's
all the
passion.
time. And I would go into his office, and I would say, his name is Jeremy. I would say, Jeremy, are you okay? And he'd just say, I'm so pissed. I just yelled at my drilling guys. And I'd say, well, you're not angry. You're just passionate.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, I love that. Because that's true. But anyway, so yeah, that's on Tuesday up in Casper.
I'm not creeping on your profile pic. I'm admiring.
Exactly.
So, okay, what's the event? Okay, so it's February 16th. That's a Tuesday.
Yep.
It's
from
in
5 to 10.
Casper.
Yep, it's from 5 to 10
Oh, they're
p.m.
going until 10 at night.
Yeah, it's going to be a rager. So I'm going to stay the night in Casper and, hopefully try to make it out to drive back home at a reasonable time the next day. So,
Right.
It's at the
Okay.
Gaslight Social in Casper. So if you're around, you should stop by and say hi.
What else we got coming up here in the oil and gas world? I know we got Tiffany Wilson's birthday coming up, and we
Happy birthday to you.
talking to her tomorrow on Tuesday, on Fat Tuesday. So tomorrow, Fat Tuesday, we're going to talk Fat Tuesday talk.
Fat Tuesday.
And it's not related to Tiffany Wilson, but we're going to talk to Tiffany Wilson as well because she's turning 30 sexy tomorrow.
So that's much bigger than Fat Tuesday.
Right. And so, but it's a Fat Tuesday themed party. So we're going to talk a little bit about some
She's going to get the baby Jesus.
history.
She's
of
going to
Fat
get the baby
Tuesday.
Jesus.
I don't know. What is Fat Tuesday? To me, I'm Catholic. So we have Ash Wednesday the next day. So my understanding is Fat Tuesday is you party and eat because you got to go on some sacrificing and some eating fish on Fridays and
I just
giving
know
up
that it's
whatever.
a big party and you get a cake and the cake has a little baby Jesus hidden in it. And if you get the piece of cake with the baby Jesus in it, then it brings you good luck for a year.
Are you kidding me?
No, but they so because of,
Oh.
lawsuits and things, they stopped putting the baby Jesus in the cake because they don't want people to choke on it. So
Right.
now they give you a cake and they give you a baby Jesus and they let you put the baby Jesus in the cake. So you get to choose who gets the good luck for the year. So
You were very
in essence,
wise
is it
in-
really good luck? I don't
You're
know.
very wise in the ways of baby Jesus and putting him inside of cakes.
Hey.
I think I saw an Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode where they tried to bake a guy in a pie once and it didn't go well. So I love the show Aqua Teen Hunger Force, by the way. Very few people know what that show is, but I don't care because it's an inappropriate show to watch at 2 a.m, and damn it, it's fun. Okay, so what else do we got for events coming up here?
More events. So Oilfield Connections has a bunch of networking lunches this week. On Wednesday, 2/17. They have one in Houston and the Longview, Texas chapters. On Thursday,
it's hard keeping up with them.
It's hard, and
Sarge has done a fantastic job, and he's had some personal issues, and he's stepping down, but he's still going to be active.
He's still very active, and he's Oilfield Connections. He's the guy that started the organization, and he's built something incredible in a very short amount of time. And
that's what I wanted to say. So if you're a chapter president or you're involved with Oilfield Connections, keep in mind that, Sarge did have a vision for this. Sarge Summers, for those of you who are wondering who Sarge is, Sarge Summers, longtime oil field veteran. When COVID started, he was just starting these Oilfield Connections, and it really took off. In fact, it took off to the tune to where it got bigger than what he could even. He wanted to be very hands-on, but it took off. He didn't have enough hands. He's only got 2. He's not an octopus. And then, of course, he had some personal issues happen and all these other things. And I mean, my heart goes out to him because he wants this Oilfield Connections to be successful, but at the same time, he also understands the place he's at in his life. So if you're one of the leadership in Oilfield Connections, I'm just telling you from me personally, just respect his vision that he had with this, because that's why people were attracted to it. I mean, I've had some people in the DJ that called me when he first started, and they said, finally, someone who gets it. I mean, he's got like weekly prayers, like a conference call with prayers and things like that, where there are people involved just because of that, because they want that weekly just kind of synergy that comes with that, because the oil field is changing. It's changing. You know that. We talked about that with Stephanie Canales on Friday about, hey, there's some different changes happening that I don't think the industry's aware of yet.
No, it's bigger than all of us.
So these events are very important for a new reason, because to me, the old way of networking is done. That's done. There's a whole new network that's being had and all these other things. And so these industry events are important, but for other reasons. They're important to network, not just to be seen, but to find out really what's going on. So, and to get a little bit of face time is good. So the Oilfield Connections, what do we got? You mentioned a couple in Texas, didn't you?
Yeah, a couple in Texas on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, February 18th, Corpus Christi is having an Oilfield Connections networking lunch. And they're going to have a guest speaker who is the Texas Railroad Commissioner, Jim Wright. So that will be...
What's the third one?
The third commissioner?
Christy Craddock, Wayne Christian, and then the third one. It's like Pavarotti, the other one. Yeah.
So it might be a good one to attend. And then also one in Lubbock on the same day on Thursday.
They got a chapter in Lubbock too?
Lubbock and Corpus Christi. Yep. And Houston and Longview and Dallas. They have several in Texas.
It's international. It's all over. I just didn't know that they had one in Lubbock, Texas. That's where Tiffany Wilson lives. So
yeah,
I would assume that she's probably going to know something about that. But
definitely,
that's the thing too, is that you've only got so much time in your day, and so it's great to be a part of these. But
and these are networking lunches too. So hopefully it doesn't take time out of the other parts of your day. You do have to drive there, but you're also.
Have you been to Midland?
No.
Everything's 30 minutes.
I know, but this is an opportunity to actually get out and meet people. This is
estimated arrive time 25 minutes. It's like, what the heck?
Priorities, I guess. Priorities.
I mean, Fort Collins, everything's 15 minutes, but
yeah,
that is funny, by the way. In Fort Collins, it's like you're 3 miles away. Estimated arrival time 12 minutes. Then you go a little bit, 15 minutes. Okay, all right. So what else do we have for events here?
This one I'm really excited about. On Thursday, February 18th, over lunch from 12 to 1, there's a virtual event hosted by PIOGA, which is the Women in Oil and Gas. It's called their MIT or Members in Transition webinar series.
Is it WOGA?
WOGA, yep.
Women
in Oil and Gas.
Okay.
and it started here in Colorado, and I think has expanded, but based here in Denver. So Kaylee Van Cleve, who is the current president of Women's Energy Network, we'll talk about that later, but this one's called Interview Skills in the Current Virtual Reality. Kaylee's one of the most incredible women I have met here in this industry. She is an authority on recruiting and job coaching, and you won't want to miss this one. So if you look at my website, look for a WOGA event. And then on Thursday, February 18th, we have PIOGA, which is the Pennsylvania Independent Oil and Gas Association.
PIOGA?
PIOGA.
Great name.
I love it.
That sounds like a bar game.
Well,
play some PIOGA tonight.
It's funny you say that because they're hosting a networking event at Pins and Pints in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Sounds like a dish you might find on diners, drive-ins, and dives, too. Tonight we're going to be making PIOGA with the... All right,
I was about to say I hate that show.
Okay.
So that's in Pittsburgh from 6 to 9.
Sidebar. Do you know that there is I believe there's a website, but I know there's a whole thread of people that have gone out of business after that show. So here's
I'm not
how.
surprised. Yeah.
Is that it gets on the show, and all of a sudden these tourists come, right? Because it's been on diners, drive-ins, and dives, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to go. Well, the locals spite it. They hate it. Ooh. So they stop going because there's a bunch of douchebags there, right? So they stop going. Well, then the place goes out of business. So there's a whole subculture of I hate Guy Fieri because he killed my restaurant.
He just annoys me, so I just can't.
I think he's got the best job in the world.
He has the best job in the world.
One guy committed suicide, Anthony Bourdain, who that was the biggest eye opener to me.
Yes,
that Anthony Bourdain, and Dave Chappelle did a whole bit on this, but that guy had the greatest job in the world. Okay, you cannot find a better job than eating the most interesting food, talking to the most interesting people on someone else's dime. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what you do. You just go do it. Whatever you want. As long as it's kind of interesting and unique, you go do it.
Yeah, except for Josh Gates on the Discovery Channel. He does those.
I got rid of my TV in 2007.
Oh, man. So he has a show. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, Expedition Unknown. And
so he's the new Anthony Bourdain.
Well, but he doesn't eat anything. He's more of a treasure hunting guy.
Oh.
But they never really find anything. But it draws you in because you think they're going to find something, and then they really don't.
I saw a show like that called Finding Bigfoot. That would be same template. Yeah. You just go search for something you never find, right?
Yeah, but it's educational, so you learn a lot about some of these historic...
Have you ever seen that show, Finding Bigfoot, by the way?
I have not.
Okay, so it's got this guy who looked like the guy who wears the hat from 30 Rock. So he wears that Frank. He wears this hat. He's got this curly hair. And I've only seen one episode. And I was at a hotel, and that's the only place I watched my TV, right? And he had donuts. He was putting donuts on a tree and this was him. Bigfoot likes donuts, but they also like it.
How do they know that?
But they also like it when you take a bite out of each donut, because that means you're sharing with them. So he would take a bite out of each donut and put it on the tree, and I'm going, okay, I can't get a show on Discovery Channel, but this makes it? Come on. Boy, they really hate oil and gas. Because we've pitched this show to some... Netflix said yes. But
yeah, well, I mean, the Kardashians have a show, so...
I know, they wanted to go that direction.
There you go.
Yeah, that's something. XM said yes to us, too, but we couldn't afford it.
Oh.
Well, you got to have a certain amount of sponsorships to go with it, and that's just, I think it was $250,000 or something like that. And so,
well, hey, everyone, sponsor the Crude Life and oilfieldsourcing.com.
Okay, that's a whole different topic there, but I see that there's one in Midland, too, coming up on Oilfield Connects, but I'm looking at oilfieldsourcing.com under the events. I don't want to give away your list, so you go ahead and give us our next event, because all right, go ahead, because I'm not here to talk about my events.
No, let's talk about events.
What else
that's what we do is we network. So the week of February 22nd, there are several Oilfield Connection networking lunches. One in Abilene, one in Lafayette, Louisiana, one in Kingwood, Texas. There's another Texas chapter for you.
Connections?
These are Oilfield Connections. Okay. Yep. And then another one on Friday in Dallas. On Monday to Tuesday, there is a virtual energy and data conference put out by the SPE, the AAPG, and the SEG. It's a very educational event, but we promote all events in oil and gas.
I've never been to one of these virtual events.
Okay. You haven't?
I did. I did the Oilman Magazine's virtual trade show last year. Okay, and that's the only one I've ever done.
Really, there's a lot of free ones out there.
Yeah,
you can just register and.
But like everybody, my time is.
It is, but I guess, it depends on what you're interested in. And
depends on what your job is.
Sure.
That's how I look at it. It has nothing to do with interest. It has to do with your job. And for me, I'll pop into one if I need to, but I don't really care for the media ones. Like that's the ones I'm supposed to be involved in, and they're such a waste of time. Everybody's just glad handing each other. And
I'm glad you said that, because I feel like a lot of the events that have been happening recently don't have a lot of substance.
Are you kidding me? It's a half hour of everybody patting each other on the back. Oh, I'm so glad so-and-so came. And then they talk about some story and laugh and blah, blah, blah. It's nauseating.
It is.
Especially if you're a small business owner trying to figure out how to make it in today's world. I mean, time is extremely valuable right now if you're not getting the government money.
It is.
And I'm sorry if you guys are on the government money, and that's hard to hear. That's the reality.
Yeah.
If you've been getting a government check, or your company has been getting a government check for a year versus the other plebeians out there not getting it, and I say plebeians because there's a ton of people out there that are small business owners who have not gotten one dime from the PPP and all that other money. No. They got to decide whether they want to go and get welfare for a week or not. That's how they live, by the way. Do you have any idea the mental challenge that is to say, I need to go apply to get my welfare check for this week? Or unemployment, I guess it's called. It used to be called welfare back in my days. Now it's unemployment. That's very difficult.
If you're eligible.
If you're eligible.
That's right.
I'm not. I get denied every week. I tried for a while. I gave up. I'm like, screw this. All right, I'll just go make it work. That's why we're doing the Play Hard, Work Hard morning show. We need to grab a hold of the narrative again, and it's working. People like it. People like we've got a dog named Frackleberry Hound. I get more emails about the dog than I do about me. By the way, folks, we do want to give a big thank you to Christy Craddock at the Texas Railroad Commission, who sent out our Crude Life interview across her network, and they've actually spliced it into different parts to help educate. That's the thing here, folks. This is an educational platform at the end of the day. We like to have some fun. That's why we've added the Play Hard portion, because I've been around oil and gas long enough to know we like to play hard and work hard. I know people say work hard, play hard. No, we like to play hard, then we like to work hard. Sorry, I'm a realist here. Now, some of you, I get it, you can't. You
can't have one without the other.
No, you work hard.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks straight, and then you go play hard for 2 weeks straight. We used to call them drunken sailors and pirates, drywallers. They get their check and they go party till the next check with drywallers. Why did you laugh so hard at that one?
Well, because my husband worked in Vegas for 6 years and building casinos, and so these guys would get their paycheck on Friday,
exactly,
and they would go right to the casino and piss it all away, and then on Monday they'd be like, hey dude, can I borrow $7 for a sandwich? And so it's exactly what it is.
Listen, stereotypes are wrong, but there's a little bit of truth for some reason behind most of them. Anyway, folks, that's gonna do it. We are way over on time here, so I apologize. By the way, we're gonna have some links at thecrudelife.com. Play hard, work hard. We've got a daily show page. You can go to that. Oilfieldsourcing.com is where you can find all these different events. Of course, you can go to the Oilfield International Connection, Oilfield Connections website, and go to there specifically. But what Shawn Forbes is bringing you is Shale Play USA. Okay? Shale Play USA, a centralized place for all the different events to come and be shown, be told. That was a terrible way to phrase that. I'm going to call myself out on that one. That was awful. It's like
a platform.
A brain just stopped right there because I'm way over. I'm thinking about how I'm going to get to the commercial break and all kinds of different things. Folks, when we come back, Tiffany Wilson is going to join us. No, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Today, when we come back, it is the Oilfield Women's Network. That's what it is. See, I was thinking she was going to be part of that, but she's not. That's right. You're just going to talk about some of the women going on, women that are doing some incredible things in oil and gas. You see, I can't think straight.
In the energy industry.
Why did you say energy industry?
Well, because the Women's Energy Network is the entire energy value chain. Mm-hmm. It's not just oil and gas. It's renewables, oil and gas, utilities. It's everyone who is committed to bringing responsible energy to people.
With that, we are going to take a brief pause because that was articulate, and obviously I turned into a pumpkin about 2 minutes ago because I just started rambling nonsense. This is the Play Hard, Work Hard morning show. My name is Jason Spiess. That is Shawn Forbes. We'll see you in a few.
Rainy day blues in a misery mansion. Mississippi woman with a West Virginia man. If you got the money, well, stay a little longer. It's funny how time slips away in the dark side of fate. If Willie does it, it can't be bad. If Willie does it, it can't be bad. It was the best time I ever had.
The Crude Life, Play Hard, Work Hard, is sponsored in part by...
If you have natural gas leases and are looking to sell them, Swan Energy wants to talk to you today. Give them a call at 866-539-0860. That's 866-539-0860. Swan Energy is buying up natural gas leases, and they may buy yours too. Give them a call today.
Industrial Forest.
It takes an industry to build a forest. Hey folks, Jason Spiess with The Crude Life. Did you know about half the trees planted in the last 20 to 30 years have died within the first year? Lack of watering, transplant shock, special interest groups, poor growing conditions are just a few reasons it takes an industry to build a forest, and that is exactly what the industrial forest does. Sustainability sheds, critical pipeline systems are implemented to ensure the forest survives and absorbs carbon for decades to come. It takes an industry to build a forest. If you're interested in sustainable forests, growing industry jobs, check out theindustrialforest.com. That's theindustrialforest.com.
Play hard, work hard. Now, let's play hard.
Since you're my pineapple, baby, let me be your mango man. You're my pineapple, baby, let me be your mango man.
Welcome back to the Play Hard, Work Hard morning show. Busy day here this morning. Just had to go walk Frackleberry Hound outside real quick within our commercial break. That's why we played a little bit more music during the last break there. And now we come back. Shawn Forbes, who's the co-host today, sitting in for Sterling. Forgot to mention that, by the way. Sterling, of course, comes to us via Saudi Arabia, where he spent his childhood. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. But I was going to say I'm probably much better looking.
You're very, yes, extremely good looking and better looking than Sterling, too. Sterling's not a bad looking guy.
I'm sure he's a handsome fellow.
So Sterling actually lived in Dhahran, which is a city in Saudi Arabia, which is 100% oil field workers. So Tiffany Wilson, who's going to be on the show tomorrow, she, does the Aries buildings, man camp, crew camp, temporary housing, whatever. So imagine that in the middle of a desert in Saudi Arabia with golf courses, schools, shopping malls. But every single person that lives there is an employee of Ramco, which is now Saudi Ramco, which used to be Standard Oil. So back when it's now a Saudi Arabia company, but back then it was an American company. And that's a literal oil and gas community because the only reason the teacher is there is because of the oil and gas workers. Okay. Like when you go to some of these other places, like whether it's Midland or Williston, North Dakota. They have some agriculture or some sort of tech or, you know what I mean? Some sort of other industry. Mm-hmm. Not Daharan. 100% oil and gas workers specifically for one company.
Yeah.
This happens now to be the largest oil and gas company in the world. Anyway, that's Sterling. He's the co-host normally, but...
They have a refinery in Texas, by the way.
They do.
Saudi Aramco, yeah. It's through a different name of the company, but yeah, they fund it. They fund it.
Look at you all wise in the ways of oil and gas. That's why she's here, folks. Shawn Forbes, Oilfield Sourcing, knows what she was talking about. In fact, we went so far over last time just jibber-jabbering. We didn't even get to how many different events do you guys have on your website? And just give us a quick little, like, the sterile nuts and bolts bullet points of oilfieldsourcing.com.
Yeah, so I have about 104 events right now on the site. 5 fishing tournaments. Different fishing tournaments.
Nice.
Yeah, I love fishing, so of course I'm going to mention that.
Imagine clay shoot or 2
8.
as well.
There's 8 clay
shoots. Oh, you actually haven't broken down that much.
Yeah, 5 happy hours.
What are you, like an engineer?
3. I mean, I like numbers, and people like...
No math in the morning, no math in the first hour. I told you, we will not have math in the first hour of Play Hard. Work hard, different story. Those guys are all linear thinkers. But
we're talking about Play Hard, so there are 16 different golf tournaments advertised on my site right now. So
is that it? I figured there'd be
that
more.
I know of. But
that's right. We're still in snow season.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like people are starting to coordinate events and start advertising them. People are tired of being stuck in the house. They want to get outside, and golf tournaments to me are...
So if you're listening right now and you're thinking, you know what? I want to let oilfieldsourcing.com and Shawn Forbes know about our event. Now, my understanding is, now correct me if I'm wrong, you've got 2 different ways that people can put in events. Number one, they can put it in themselves.
That's right. So and events are free to post.
The preferred way.
The preferred way.
They can put it in themselves. They sign up. It's for those people listening, it's just like every other site that you do this for. And you can put your own events in. And there's a lot of companies who have people that are paid specifically to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. The second way is, and this is maybe
it's free advertising for your event.
But the second way is maybe for some of those, busy, call them business owners or whatever the case is. They got 15 different things going, and all of a sudden they got roped in and they're doing this fundraiser. And you know what I mean? It happens. So they can send in to you though. And you'll put it in if you got time.
That's right.
Okay, so where can they send the information? Let's say they got an event and they want to send it to you. How can they do that?
You can email me directly at Shawn, SHAWN, at oilfieldsourcing.com.
Easy enough.
Send events, send comments, only if they're good comments.
Can we talk about some women?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I had a terrible Valentine's Day, spent it alone with my dog. She's a girl. Hey, Frackleberry Hound.
She's your favorite girl.
Oh, she's my love.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
she's very pretty.
It is the Women's Energy Network.
Yes.
And this is, we say energy too.
Yeah.
Because we're all about all the energies.
All the above. Mm-hmm.
And it's not just Colorado.
No, it's an international network.
Okay.
So there are several chapters across the U.S., but basically the Women's Energy Network is an organization of professionals who work across the entire energy value chain. So that includes professionals in renewables, oil and gas, logistics, and utilities. So we encourage an organization of inclusion for everyone who is dedicated to bring energy to our homes, our businesses, and public outlets. Whether that be, a supplier of services or, an attorney who represents energy clients. So anyone related to the energy business.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of insight here that they probably haven't shared with you. But back in the day when I was a magazine publisher, remember magazines?
What's that?
Okay, exactly. They used to be around, magazines, and
Good Housekeeping.
They would have a purpose, They were a lot of they called them shelf life. So you'd have coffee table book, that type of thing. So it was more about the presentation than about anything else. You could have a gorgeous photo and not really advertise much and be very impactful. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because it was very appealing to females and women, okay? And when it came to major purchases, say over $1,000, and that probably about $2,000 to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 now, but back in the day, $1,000 was that cutoff. Women did 80% of the household decision making. So if you're going to buy a new furniture set, the women are making the choice. The man might be paying for it, but the women were making the choice.
You're a home economics engineer.
I didn't realize you guys had a specific term, but okay.
Well, I don't, but
that sounded very, very specific there.
Yes.
So my point is that I think it's great that the way women are embracing oil and gas, because personally, I think that is what it's going to take to bring oil and gas to that accepted in the household. And you're nodding your head. So what do you think on that?
No, I agree. I mean, women need to be at the table as well.
They're very influential in households. Okay. They're very influential. So if it's cool and sexy to rail on oil and gas, it's probably what's going on just a casual, whatever basis.
Right.
But if there's a group of women that are coming forward and connecting with other women through, bunko? Is bunko a thing anymore? I heard about that 10 years ago. So that was always a reason why I didn't see my girl. She was always at some bunko game at some guy's house. I'm just kidding.
That sounds like a North Dakota thing.
Anywho, said any owl. I do believe that the women are not only a key part when it comes to bringing a new perspective into the workplace, because that's a very key part, by the way.
It is.
The oil and gas industry has been extremely male-dominated for a long time. But you know what? There's been a reason for that. It's a very rough industry.
It is.
It's a very tough industry. It's a lot like ag. It's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone. I was just going to say that. It's not for everyone.
Not even for every guy.
No,
I mean, not
right.
only do you got to physically be to a certain degree,
right?
You got to mentally and just...
Yeah, no, I mean, I know salespeople who have come into the oil and gas industry and they just couldn't hack it. It just wasn't for them, and they've moved on. But,
hey,
I mean, hey, good.
I work
nice
in
try.
the media, so oil and gas has got nothing on the media, okay? You want to talk about a meat grind? Craig Bowl, the coach of the University of Wyoming, who coached Josh Allen, who played in the Super Bowl this year, okay? Craig Bowl is just right down the road, University of Wyoming. He's the head coach. Him and his wife, we used to share an office, so we used to know each other pretty well. After 30 days of being married to his wife, he goes, Jason, boy, that media is a meat grinder. And this is coming from a coach in college, so just to give you an idea what the media is
competition, and politics.
Backstabbing, I have never seen people work so hard not to work. That I know makes sense to a lot of people out there in corporate America, because it's the same kind of thing. But that's where I see the women really making an influence, is that bringing in this new perspective that just guys don't have. It's no fault on the men.
Right.
No fault.
No, being women coming into this male-dominated industry, we have to work 10 times as hard to be heard and have a seat at the table.
Speaking of which, Mick Hager from Canine Pipeline, she also has a side business, Chewy Paws, which you hear Frackleberry Hound chomping on her antler back there. I'm sure it's an elk or a moose or a deer. I'm not sure, but it's this. She's another one of these modern day leaders that is bringing in a new sort of idea and mindset when it comes to oil and gas. Yeah. She's bringing in this whole, dogs are a great way to connect with people outside of the industry.
Yeah, and they're doing pipeline leak detection services. I mean,
by the way, and
that's how out of the box is that?
Well, I'm not even talking about the fact that dogs are, and I'm a dog lover, that dogs have scientifically been proven to be more successful than robots. Okay, they still are. Okay, robots are great, but because they're cheaper and whatever else. The dogs are kind of on the wayside, but the dogs are actually more effective.
Yeah.
They actually are. So I look at it as the dogs become twofold, because number one, you get a more reliable service, but second, you get a PR that's beyond belief. I mean, think about if you're an oil and gas company and you just brought these dogs in one time, took photos. Oh, kids would love it. They'd love it. absolutely love it. But sorry, I'm not a pitch person for any sort of canine service. I'm just a pitch person for the animals out there. I want them working, the animals.
Yeah, no, they're valuable, not only as companions, but
Frackleberry Hound has done great numbers for the Crude Life and the industrial forest because she's a mascot. So we need to get back to human women now. Not that Mick Hager wasn't. By the way, she has a blog on your site, I saw.
She has an article. She posted an article about canine dogs nosing their way through pipeline leak detection.
And just real quick, you guys allow guest contributors too.
Yes. So if you can create a free business listing on the site, and you can post an article about anything really, as long as it's industry related. I really encourage companies that have come up with interesting technologies and new out of the box ways to do things in our industry to post those, and it will drive traffic to your business profile. So it's free to post articles.
All right, so let's get to some of the women. Let's highlight a few women that are active or that have done some pretty amazing things in the world of oil and gas. And I see you have our good friend Sally there. I'm looking at your sheet right there. She just transferred positions now, got a new job over at the Western Energy Alliance.
Yeah.
Kathleen Skama is a regular guest here on the program, and so we were talking about her in the last interview. So for those of you folks out there who, excuse my slur there for a second because I tried to talk very quickly, go ahead and check out our interview with Kathleen Skama. She actually does a nice job of kind of promoting and talking about Sally's role at the Western Energy Alliance, or the Western Energy Alliance. And you have some information about her when it comes to the oil and gas networking. So sorry, I just wanted to plug her a little bit there.
No, I mean, I honestly, I can't say enough about Sally, so we could just talk about her for the next 2 hours if you want. I mean,
North
Sally,
Dakota gal, by the way, from Minot, North Dakota.
I mean, I don't have enough time to express the amount of respect and admiration
By the way,
I have
true
for this
story.
woman.
When she was in North Dakota, her phone number was 4, mine was 9.
One number off, 3 numbers off.
No, that's it. That few people, our family's got one number. You just dial 4, you get Sally. I'm just kidding. Okay.
That's funny.
Bad joke.
I know, North Dakota, North Dakota. So Sally is the current business development manager at Western Energy Alliance, and she's the past president for WENCO. WENCO stands for the Women's Energy Network of Colorado. Sally is actively involved in the nonprofit community, and she currently supports a number of organizations, including Oilfield Helping Hands, Project PAVE, and Global Dental Relief. And I'm friends with Sally on her social media, and she is constantly promoting, local businesses. And I really don't know how she does it all.
She's a firecracker out there.
She's just nonstop, and she's involved in so many amazing things. And Sally's done so many wonderful things for the Women's Energy Network, and teed it up for Kaylee Van Cleve, who is our current president. She's another woman that I'm so in awe of. She is the managing partner at Iridium Consulting Company. She does recruiting, business consulting, job consultings, and workshops. If you ever see Kaylee host a webinar related to personal development in the workplace, or how to prepare for interviews or resume improvements, don't miss it. I think I mentioned an event that's happening this coming week with WOGA, and Kaylee is presenting in it. So if you have a minute, you should really sign up for it. I think it's either free if you're a member of WOGA, or very small registration fee. So, and then last but not least, I want to highlight Jenny Sparks. Jenny is not only the upcoming president for WENCO in 2022, but she's also the strategic marketing manager for Applied Control Equipment. This woman is brilliant and so much fun, and her smile will change your day.
Frackleberry Hound is she's jealous.
Moochie.
Did you hear her?
Moochie.
Did you hear Frackleberry? She's just she's trying to.
She's so excited. She's so excited for the Women Energy Network members.
She's grabbing me and that's what she was doing. As soon as you started profiling the women, she just started grabbing me because she's jealous.
She's so jealous.
Oh, when Sterling's here, she waits until we turn the mic on, and then she goes and grabs the Chewy Paws and just starts dropping them. Just starts making noise.
She's like, what about me?
She's an outstanding diva. That's why we love her so much. So, okay, so Sparks, what was the...
Jenny. So Jenny's our upcoming president for next year. And
when does that start?
January 1st.
Of 2022?
Yep. So Kaylee's our current president. Sally's our past president, but still involved with the organization.
Now, do you guys, how is it you guys do things now? Is it different chapters? Is it...
Yeah, so we're the Colorado chapter, and we kind of manage our own events and programs and things, and we report up to our national, which is, I think, based in Arkansas. And Colorado chapter has about 453 members right now. And, it's a fantastic organization to network with folks in the industry. I mean, I really love the Women's Energy Network because it's different than the other oil and gas organizations in town. Like, I was always gravitated towards, the pipeliners and the Gas Processors Association. And I would always see the same people at the same events all the time. And when I joined Women's Energy Network 3 years ago, I knew maybe one person. So whenever I went to an event, I felt kind of by myself and alone. But since then, I've just met so many incredible people.
Let me ask you this. What is different about that? Because...
It's because I'm doing something that I didn't feel comfortable doing.
No, in terms of the conversation. Okay, so this was my issue for a long time, was that in the Bakken, no matter what meeting you went to, it was all the same people, no matter what it was. Okay?
Which is great because everyone, so it's a good time. It's but you're not going to get anywhere.
It's not. It's good.
Or you're
but
not going to grow.
Great.
You're not going to grow.
It's good that all those people are there.
Right.
But there needs to be some diversity when it comes to the leadership and a few other things. Like early on, when I started seeing about all the different boards that were going on in the Bakken and everything, I remember saying this out loud. I said, there must be some people whose full-time job is just doing board meetings. Because when I looked at how many different things they were on in different parts of the state, and they lived in a different state, I went, that's got to be their full-time job. They can't do they don't physically have enough time to do anything else. Okay, so when I started looking at that, I'm like going, where's the cafe owner? Where's the farmer? You know what I mean? Just kind of some diversity.
Yeah.
And so when I hear what you just said, I just wanted to highlight that when you started when you went to the Women's Energy Network, you saw a whole new network.
Yes.
That opened up a whole new world to you.
Yes.
And as we continue to build silos in our world, which people are doing, a lot of leaders right now are building silos. We want to talk about a good conversation. Last Friday was it Del Frisco's?
In Cherry Creek.
You, me, Stephanie Canales, we got real. We got real to where we said we're going to get real, and this is not going to leave the table. And part of some of the things that we got real about, and I'm not going to disclose too much, but was that there are silos being built, and how that is not the best thing to happen, because what happens is the silos, they don't let anybody else in. And right now we need to let everybody in. And so that's a little bit of what's going on. So I'm sorry, I just wanted to bring that up and point that out. So you're talking about a networking group that opened up your mind, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they're people that I never would have met on my own.
I gotta get passionate about this stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I met, attorneys and people who do title work and people who work for renewable companies, and it's just a different perspective, but we're all focusing on the same thing, is bringing responsible energy to people. And
I look at it from a whole different perspective, though.
Yeah, I love that we're like being inclusive, and we're trying to like take away the us versus them, and we're just energy people.
I look at it like this: like when I went to a lot of these different events, it was mostly guys, mostly males. Okay. And then it changed a little bit to where they started adding some females, but it was the same female in every single thing. So nothing against that same female, but it was the same people at the same meetings saying the same thing. So you would go to 6 meetings in a week, and it was the exact same message. And then you go home and you check your email, and the same message is coming. You see what I mean? It's like it's
not evolving.
Oh, it's a herd mentality and a group think that's almost like organized to fail. Because I've said this for years now. When I got into this industry 10 years ago, plastic bags and reusable tote bags, plastic straws, and paper straws were basically all that the oil and gas conversation was, with occasional bitch about, I don't want to pay $3 for gas. Honestly, outside of that, there wasn't much. Now we got the president of the United States trying to ban the industry. So all I'm trying to say is over the last 10 years, there's been a herd mentality and a groupthink from time to time that's caused some problems. So anything that can open your mind to some new ideas right now, I would highly recommend it. That's a very soapboxy way for you to promote your deal. I apologize about that because I try not to get too political, but dang it, sometimes I do.
It's facts. It's facts.
So how can people join?
Yeah, so go to the womensenergynetwork.com and find your local chapter and become a member.
Do you know how many chapters there are? Or I mean, is there like so many it's hard to count? Or
I think there's over 20.
Oh, okay.
Across the US.
That's enough. It's like more than 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, yeah. It's WEN is international, so there are some chapters outside of the U.S. as well. But I'm currently on the board of directors as the director of sponsors and partners. So my goal is to engage with organizations and companies who are interested in like supporting our events and valuable programs to promote their brand through logos on our website or highlighted at our events. So if you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a partner, please reach out to me at sponsorship@wencolorado.org. And
I pulled up that website, womensenergynetwork.org. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so I pulled that up while you were talking. Because I do feel bad when I pop quiz people.
Yeah.
And I pop quizzed you.
Yeah.
Okay. And JD Warren does the Round and Rotary podcast. He made a mention. So did actually Derrick Clark down in the Permian about how he made him comment on the air that, this was 100% organic. We didn't get any questions ahead of time, all this other stuff. Almost to where I felt like they were kind of backdooring slamming somebody with that. I don't know, because it was different when somebody says that, but I take that as a compliment because that's how I think interviews should go, and that's how we've done it.
Sure.
So pop quiz here. You ready for this? It's on your website.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. 5,946 total members.
Yep.
20 chapters. So right on the nose. If you had the over-under, folks, you lost because it's right on the nose. 20 different chapters and 32 upcoming events. They've been fostering career development for women in the energy industry since 1994. Some people graduated that year, not me.
Yeah.
Hey, I need to ask you, by the way. Let's say I want to join.
Yeah.
How can I join? Can I join? I'm a man.
You can join.
I've seen a great episode of Parks and Rec where Ron Swanson, the male boss, wins a Women of the Year award. So can I join your Women's Energy Network, or am I just being comical?
No, absolutely. Men are welcome and encouraged to join. So, I mean, who better to promote women than the strong men in our industry?
Do you have any men?
I do.
So I wouldn't be the first man?
You would not be the first man.
Anymore. Okay.
So Clay Landclose.
All right, I'll join.
He's a member. He works for SIGET. He's a technical sales engineer, and he's a proud member of WENCO.
For what? SIGET?
SIGET.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a fabrication company.
And what was the name of the acronym you just said so quickly?
WENCO.
WENCO? Okay.
Women's Energy Network, Colorado. WENCO.
The co, I did not. That was new to me. I was only with the WEN.
If you see WEN, WENCO, Women's Energy Network, and Colorado.
One of my biggest struggles doing this, by the way, for the last 10 years is I'm so used to when I hear abbreviations pausing and making sure that the audience is following along too. And so oil and gas people just keep going. Man, they got time. I love it. But I love it because
there's so many acronyms. My friend and we've always wanted to do this, what we think it means and what it really means.
I used to work at a video store, and
Blockbuster?
No, it was a Videoland. It was called. It was a local, small mom and pop. I've never applied for a job in my life, so I just went in. I kept renting movies, and he offered me a job one day. Okay, so I took it, and I generally like to have purpose with my work, and sometimes the purpose is just money. And I worked at a convenience store for a long time just for the money, and found out that was the hangout, and so I worked there because I got paid to hang out. That's where all the people from my high school hung out. So I'm like, I might as well get paid to hang out with my friends.
It's like the movie Clerks.
So it is like that. So I always try to find a purpose for why I'm doing it. And like I said, sometimes, it's just for the money. But, we're giving people entertainment because one of the most respected entrepreneurs of my lifetime, I think they call them mentors now, he always told me that, Jason, entertainment and haircuts will survive any recession. Entertainments and haircuts. Okay, so I always remember that. So, and the owner of the video store, a small business owner, that's why he got into it, was because of that reason. He always heard the same thing. So entertainment, he did that sort of. And it was huge back in the day.
Yeah, and apparently toilet paper
is today. Well, that's both entertainment and a haircut.
Right.
But when you look at what the oil and gas worker is that the reason they're always in a hurry is because they understand they're doing stuff of purpose. I mean, it's amazing because you can see it in their eye. They really can. And that's what I believe a lot of women are gravitated towards. That it's all of a sudden now a career with purpose. And so when, like when we were talking with Stephanie Canales, remember how she mentioned a former environmentalist and I corrected her? And I said, no, you're still an environmentalist. And she looked at me and she said, yes, I am.
That's right.
And she wrote that down in her notes because what we talked about shortly after that was grabbing control of that narrative again instead of reacting. So as leaders, that's what we're trying to do now is help each other out by just saying, whoa, before we go on and get on the same page, let's just take a step back and say, we're no longer going to allow anybody to say environmentalist because the actual truth is the oil and gas industry is one heck of a more of an environmentalist than many of the environmentalists are. So as Terry Edom, author of End of the Fossil Fuel Insanity says, they're climate activists. That's the end of the discussion. Environmentalists, that don't call them that anymore. Do not buy into that. Correct people and say, no, they're climate activists. Because the oil and gas industry is much more of an environmentalist than any Keurig drinking, cell phone texting environmentalist ever will be. And that's true. True story. That's my soapbox. So how can people join? Can I join? I mean, you said I can join. How much is it? What are we talking about here? Let's get to the brass tacks. We are way over on time here, by the way. Way over on time. Is it like $1,000 a year or $5,000 or what?
No, it's just over $100 a year for an individual membership.
$100 a year?
$125.
Well, I'll give that to you right now.
Per year. Do you want to sign up? Do you want to sign up online? Right now?
Cash work or no? I don't want to sign up online. I can if that's how it goes.
That's how it goes. Sign up online.
It's so cheap. I can just reach in my pocket and give you that money. What are you talking about? That's like I can't even spend that at the grocery store.
All right,
it's
give me
$250 a week at the grocery store.
Give me $200. I'll sign you up.
Wait a minute. I see what you're doing. See, folks, Shawn Forbes, entrepreneur, Team Forbes.
Team Forbes. Oh, can we talk about Team Forbes for a second?
Tomorrow, we're gonna tease.
All
We're way over on time. Tomorrow. We'll talk about Team Forbes, folks. Tune in tomorrow. Because you're joining us tomorrow, right? We're going to do
let's do
tomorrow?
it. Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Because we got to run. We're going to be back tomorrow, folks. This is the Play Hard, Work Hard, Crude Life Morning Show. Shawn Forbes, part of Team Forbes. Jason Spiess, I'm with the Crude Life. By the way, we have a Work Hard portion coming up next. I totally neglected to mention who's the interview because I have no idea who it is because I didn't write it down. Because this is the Play Hard portion. I didn't bring my notes and I don't care. Stick around. You'll be worth it. Oh, or just look at the website. It's right in front of you.
Well, she wants to live a life and happiness non-stop. Well, there's moss growing all over the rocks. Analogy woman, you know I like you a lot.
music heard on the Crude Life Morning Show, Play Hard, Work Hard, is by the Moody River Band. Interested in becoming a sponsor? Email studio@thecrudelife.com.
Talked about how there's nothing.
The Crude Life with Jason Spiess.
Thank you for joining the program today.
If you want to look at America, you go to Permian and the Basin, and that's what America should be, united as one. And that's exactly what we are. And then, that's what I love about the oil and gas industry.
One county in Kansas, one single county, produced 9% of the world's oil. That was oil that won World War I. As the British said from the floor of Parliament, the Allies floated to victory on a sea of oil.
Work's picked up here in the Permian Basin.
Yeah, leadership really needs to take a look at how we've been doing things and constantly make changes in how we can do things better.
Commodities are always, any commodity business, whether it's milk or whether it's oil or whether it's apples, they always are boom or bust, because the solution to low prices is high prices, the solution to high prices is high prices.
It's a big issue. It's kind of Red Riding Hood syndrome here. People making out the industry to be the big bad wolf.
And on top of that, you would get a nice increase in pay, as I'm sure most of us all know. When you move to oil field areas, you get a nice little bump in pay. After him and I having 5 margaritas over at the Cork and Pig, I called my boyfriend and I was like, hey, do you want to move to Texas? And he was like, yeah, when are we moving? And honestly, we moved about a month after that.
This oil and gas industry, I've met some of the best people I've ever met in my life doing this.
Time now to work hard on the Swan Energy phone lines.
Yes, Derrick Clark with Epic Site Solutions.
Epic Site Solutions. What is it you guys do out there in the Permian Basin in Texas?
So I'm essentially a sales consultant. I represent 2 equipment companies. I come from the equipment industry, so wanted to get back into rentals and sales, and then we provide maintenance and repair work as well. But, between the 2 companies that I work for, I can basically get my hands on anything from a light tower to a crane, heavy dirt equipment, general equipment, kind of your one-stop shop for your equipment needs in the Permian.
Are you like at a 1099? I mean, you a sole proprietor, small business? Are you guys a company? I mean, you mentioned for a couple companies. So a lot of times, there's a, independent contractor will hang his hat on 3 or 4 different companies, that sort of thing. Is that kind of an arrangement I'm hearing?
It is, yes, sir. So technically we're an LLC. It's just me with Epic. I'm a one-man band right now. Hoping to grow in and bring in a few more salespeople down the road. But yeah, so yeah, we're 1099 basically for the companies we work for. And I opened up a company essentially so I could operate under a company and be able to get all the insurance I needed and be able to have some of the tax breaks that comes with it.
No, that makes sense. I mean, there's companies out there that are just 8 to 10 small businesses together working as a group on a bigger project. That's been a new business model over the last 10 years I've seen grow nicely. But right now, it's really important to be nimble right now in today's economy. And so speaking of which, Permian Basin, of course, that's a lot of activity down in the Permian Basin when it comes to the percentage of daily rig counts in shale play USA. We've had a little bit of a spike, a little bit of a down, a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a evening out thing. So let's get a boots on the ground report here from Derrick. What's going on down there in the Permian this week?
So I agree. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic. I know it's not where any of us want it to be right this minute, but at least from my standpoint on the equipment side, I've been speaking with several contractors, primarily on the pipeline and facility side, that are putting bids in. They're requesting quotes for me on different types of machinery. So from what I'm really hearing right now, it's not a whole lot of boots in the dirt. I mean, there is some, but I think in the next month and a half, we're going to see a lot of these projects kind of actually kicking off and having more people busy. And obviously it all starts from the operators down. So I think they're ready to, hopefully spend a little money and invest in everything they have going on, and it all trickles down to the rest of us.
You mentioned you do cranes, is that right?
We do, yes, sir. One of the companies that I deal with, they rent cranes. Yes, sir.
Boy, I tell you, are they going anywhere? That's always a good sign of economic development. Go look for the crane.
I have actually this morning. I spoke to two separate companies that I've been working with in the past on their rentals, and both of them are requesting quotes. A couple tank batteries, SWD sets, things like that. So actually, this morning alone, I've spoken to two separate contractors, and it's only 10 a.m., so hopefully that trend continues for the day.
Well, I was always told, when it comes to the basics, go get your burger, flipping burgers job, go get your convenience store job, this and that. And when it comes to like a labor type job, one of those kind of, I don't know if you call them wives' tales or urban legends or barroom highball talk or whatever, but look for the crane. There's usually somebody hiring underneath that crane, because that represents a lot of jobs underneath there, because you need a crane.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, it's one of the first and foremost that you have to have. So, no, I haven't quite heard that, but you know what? When you say it, it makes perfect sense, and I would definitely agree with you on that.
Well, yeah, because usually the thing that needs a crane needs some sort of manufacturing behind it. And then, of course, in a lot of cases, it's meant for buildings and downtowns and, in urban life terms. When you're building a skyscraper, boy, there's all kinds of work you can do there, from putting in a food truck to sweeping up empty nails and et cetera. So anyway, just in today's day and age where so many people are looking for work compared to last year, just thought I'd point that out there. Look for the crane. You'll find some work maybe. But okay, let's go to the next thing. I wanted to ask you about the Permian Basin Pipeline Association of Pipeliners. Boy, I got a little dyslexic there halfway through. So Permian Basin Association of Pipeliners, you just celebrated a 1-year anniversary. Congratulations. Talk to me about the Association of Pipeliners.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And so, yes, essentially we're a nonprofit organization, and our whole premise is to raise scholarship funds for students pursuing STEM educations and trade schools, and kind of help grooming that next generation of oil fields. So that's essentially what we do. But man, it's a great networking opportunity. I've got a lot of great friends involved in it. For 2021, I'm actually the membership chair. So if anybody was interested in getting any information or wanting to come check out one of our events, they could always reach out to me directly, and I could fill them in on everything. But it's a lot of like-minded people. We do have a lot of pipeline contractors, a lot of facility contractors, and then we've got a lot of different organizations involved that work with the pipeline and facility side. So it's really unique. I've been involved with it for a little over a year now, and don't plan on leaving anytime soon. So I definitely think it's an organization worth checking out down here.
Are you hearing much on the Keystone XL, the federal lands, some of the executive orders when it comes to new President Biden with the pipeliners?
A lot of people are upset about it. That obviously that was a great project that this country could use for several different reasons. Took away a lot of high-paying jobs for a lot of people, and already our fragile economy that we're all dealing with now. And it's kind of a low blow to oil and gas. So I think really it's more pissed off than anything. A lot of people in this industry that I've dealt with and that I deal with and work with are, become friends over the years. And oilfield is a very prideful industry. It's not easy work. There's a lot of late nights, early mornings, middle of the night phone calls. You know, men and women are out here for 2-3 weeks at a time. They miss a lot of their personal families back home, their times, birthdays, holidays. So I just feel like a lot of people don't feel that the new president has our best interest in mind as far as an industry as a whole. So I think it's more than that. I just think more people are not scared, but kind of nervous for what we may deal with over the next 4 years of his administration. So,
I think this is organic right now. It's the first time I've ever articulated these words into the sentence, so bear with me here. But President Biden had a real opportunity to step in and become a friend to the oil and gas industry by honestly, if he just would have focused on the word transition, I think that probably would have, ticked off some, but not nearly like putting out some federal bans and executive orders and costing 70,000, 100,000 people jobs, depending on what you want. I mean, he really decided not to put an olive branch of any kind to the oil and gas industry. It was more of a middle finger than anything. That surprised me. That really surprised me. Anyway, your thoughts on that?
No, I absolutely agree. Like you said, he had an opportunity to step in and kind of, start our relationship with him as an industry on the right foot, and he took it a completely different way. And he's been very busy the first week and a half he's been in office, and unfortunately, I don't see it slowing down. And at least for the federally owned lands and drilling and the permits, he's already putting a stop to a lot of things that are just obviously going to have a direct effect on our industry as a whole. But no, I mean, I think you said it perfect. He pretty much threw up a big middle finger to our industry and said basically we have to deal with it. And, this is where we're at now, and makes no sense. Obviously it's not like oil and gas can just disappear. It's a necessity in our society. I mean, if you look what products are petroleum based alone, it's hard to find some that are not. I mean, everything is some way, shape, or form centered around it. So I don't know. It's going to be a lot of green energy pushing, and ironically, I don't think they're near as strict environmentally on some of those projects as they are the oil field in general.
What's really scary. Sorry to interrupt, but what's really scary to me is the fact of the matter is that what you said is correct. I mean, I think it's 93 or 96% of what we use on a daily basis has some petroleum product in it or is reliant on it in some way. Very few things are not reliant on it through transportation, through some sort of sealant, through some sort of plastic bag, whatever the case might be. So much of our society is reliant on that. Okay, be that as it may. So there's other means to get plastics. I understand that. There's other means to drive cars. I understand that, because over half of a barrel of oil is basically diesel and gasoline. So, then you go your percentages after that. But in order to get those vehicles, you need quite a bit of petroleum products. In order to power those vehicles, you need quite a bit of petroleum products, even though they're electric. So that part is going to actually iron itself out in the marketplace. And when people start paying 5 to 6 to 7 times for their heat, and they start realizing that this whole electric car thing is costing much more than they ever thought, they're gonna get upset. But that's gonna be a 5-year kick the can down the line. What worries me is this crash course and this religion of environmentalism, this cult of environmentalism that is taking away the liberties and freedoms of so many people on their daily life in the name of public health and safety and et cetera. That's the part that really worries me, because it's being done on such a crash course. Nobody has time to say, whoa, can we just take a look at the science? It's like, we don't have time for science. We got to act now. Sorry, man, I just got up on a big soapbox there. You got me going this morning. I've had 4 cups of coffee. So.
Hey, no, I love it, man. I can hear your passion in your voice. I mean, that's obviously why you do this. You care deeply for the industry, and I've been in it for 5 years, and I'm the same way now. I didn't know anything about Oilfield, and I moved here from Houston in 2015, and I live in the Permian full time. And yeah, man, it gets in your blood pretty quick. So I love it. Get fired up, because you're right. We've got a whole lot going on. I mean, like you said, just the way 2020 unfolded, the millions of people that were put into, financial problems, small businesses, large businesses, the oil and gas wars. And then obviously when you get to the health and the pandemic, I think you're right. A lot of things weren't science-based. They were kind of gut calls that shouldn't have been made. And yeah, like you said, it happened rather quickly. I think a lot of people are concerned and very eye-opening how powerful the government is and what they can do.
And here's a great example of the media not holding the government accountable and vice versa, this sort of thing, where just this morning I saw President Biden announced that he was going to eliminate gas-powered cars, and all the government cars are going to be electric-fueled or electric-powered cars. And the first, 95% of the story is all about how he's going to do this and going to do that and going to do this and gonna speculate. And like the last sentence, there was no more than 15 words in this sentence or paragraph that said he had no plan. That they don't know when the timeline is going to do. They don't know how they're going to do it, but he said he's going to do it. So how is the media says, I'm going to do 99% of a positive story about a planet of platitudes and some good old, feel-good stuff, when the story, if you're a true media person, if you're being sterile, is President wants to eliminate gas-powered cars, has no plan. The story is that he has no plan, that he's just coming out with feel-good, heartfelt platitudes. It's just amazed me where the media these days just cannot seem to hold these people accountable to say, the story is really, they don't have a plan. That's really the story. And so I don't know. I don't know what your thought is on that, but.
No, you're 100%. I think this election has shown the bias in the media and how powerful social media is and how it can be swayed one way or another by these conglomerate companies, these mega rock star companies that own most of our social medias that we all are guilty of interacting on every day. So yeah, the bias in the media, I hate to say it, I think most people now it's very eye-opening to see how many people don't really trust the media and speculate that most of the news that we do get is has a hidden agenda behind it. And you're right, they're not holding very many people accountable. And so no, I think you hit the nail on the head. I wish I had more to support what you were saying. I agree with it 100%.
Well, I was just going to say, and you're one of the reasons why we're able to do what we're doing, because we thank you for coming on here, because what you're offering is actually expert advice, expert opinions, because we're asking you about boots on the ground. What's your observation down in the Permian? Because that's where you're at. I don't have some representative out of Houston telling me what's going on in the Permian. I have somebody from Houston telling me what's going on in Houston. But that's the difference between like the Crude Life and say all the national news. The national news, what they do is they say, oh, we're going to talk about oil and gas. So we're going to bring on Jimbo Jones from the right and Sally Ann Sloplernager from the left. And these people, they go to their talking points and that's it. And they don't have like any sort of context. So that's why we love it when guys like you can come on, because you offer context. That's why people listen to this program, is because the people talk about things that they know about. When you're offering your opinion about things that affect you on a day-to-day basis. For crying out loud, you're the marketing director for the Pipeline Association down there, I got to get the right name, the Permian Basin Association of Pipeliners. There's a few of them, so I don't want to piss anybody off. So, but you understand what I mean, to where we're staying within the wheelhouse of what you know. I'm not asking you anything about frack
chemistry or anything like that. No, you know about cranes? All right, we'll talk about cranes a little bit, So, but anyway, I wanted to ask you.
that because I'm no chemistry major by any means, so I'm glad we're steering clear of those conversations.
Yeah, but you understand what I mean, where there's so many experts out there that, that nobody's ever heard of, but they're experts because they do this stuff on a day-to-day basis, and the crude life is all about those people. We love those people. I mean, we don't mind getting the rock stars on from time to time, but hey, man, our people are the people living the crude life day to day. And that's why we wanted to bring you on here for the main event right now, the cook-off and weld-off. Is that still happening?
It is, yes, sir. Yeah. So
that's a standard question you got to ask these days.
It is, unfortunately. And we had to, get creative with our venue for it because we plan on continuing our events. One thing we do every year, golf tournaments, clay shoots, the cook-off and weld-off's another one, team roping events. We're always trying to find ways to just get people out of the office a little bit, let them enjoy some other things and then obviously raise some funds. But anyway, I'm pulling up my information on that now. So
well, that's okay. If you need me to stall, I can, because it's Saturday, March 13th at the Ector County Coliseum. Is it Ector or Ector?
Ector, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Ector. So we've got that still going on. We just announced it last week, actually, and we seem to be getting a lot of hits. A lot of people are interested in setting up teams, obviously interested in doing the weld-off. And one thing I know about welders and one thing I know about cook-off teams is they all like to brag about who's the best. So I think it's going to be a fun event that day. We're going to have a lot of people out there. Open to the public. I mean, anybody wants any information, they can reach out to me directly, or Shelby Flats, our event coordinator. She's a rock star at it. So, we still got it going on. That's going to be our quarterly event for the first quarter this year.
Well, as a 7-time MC of the Bakken Barbecue, I can tell you that the welders, they always come prepared with something unusual because all they need is a half a day in the shop. That's it. And they're coming up with something that's very odd, and it's just great every time. It's just fantastic. So we'll have to see what you guys can come up with. That's Saturday, March 13th. Now, are you guys still looking for sponsors? I'm looking at your flyer right now. There's cooking teams available, weld-off contestants. It looks like drink sponsors. And are you looking for all these different things?
We still are, yes, sir. Yeah, we've got some teams signed up, but we still have plenty of room for everybody still. If anybody's interested, we've still got plenty of space. The parking lot at Ector County, we're going to be able to practice all the requirements we have to for large events like this, but plenty of space to have plenty of people out there.
And they got booth sponsors, VIP access sponsors, drink sponsors, weld-off contestants, and the cooking team. Okay. Do you got the VIP access, which even the VIPs aren't allowed in?
Yeah. So where that really stems from is we're really pushing to try to get a lot more operators involved.
Okay.
One thing with this organization that I forgot to mention, and I shouldn't have, is essentially we like to work with a lot of the local political leaders out here, all the way from the Permian to Austin. We're heavily involved. We had a great speaker at our dinner last week, and one of the main things he was kind of reiterating to everybody is that right now it's imperative for oil and gas, from every aspect of the industry, everybody to stick together and really show the strength in numbers. And so we're really pushing to get operators involved with this, some of the bigger names. Obviously, it's great for networking for everybody, but really it's kind of helping us align ourselves with some of the powerhouses to help us have a little more sway in the political world. We're very heavily involved in trying to just get the information out, the correct information about the oil field. A lot of people that aren't in the industry just assume it's unsafe, it's terrible for the environment. The list goes on and on. There's several organizations against the oil field, and I think it's a lack of education on the oil field, particularly that we are one of the safest industries that there is, because we're so highly scrutinized by so many people. We have to be. And that's something we're really looking to align and make a big push in 2021 is educating the public more that we are good. We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. The oil field's strong, and we're doing it safely and correctly. And we are one of the safer industries there are now. It's just a fact when you look at everything we have to go through.
It's interesting. The state representative brought up safety in numbers. That was our media kit this year. That's every year we put a new phrase on there, and we do it in September the previous year. So the year before COVID, actually, our media kit read "Ready for Anything" on the cover, and that had to do with Greta Thunberg and the climate activists really more than COVID. But there was layoffs happening, Chesapeake and Whiting. They were laying off people before COVID, and some of the other major operators were too. So we kind of saw some of that handwriting. This year, actually, our media kit reads strength in numbers. We saw that as the big focus for this year, that if people are going to survive through 2021, they're going to have some strength in numbers. And it might come in untraditional ways. And so one of the reasons we thank you for coming on here, because we have a daily program and we need strength in numbers because it's a collective voice. Some of the conversations that we just had today, it's important for people to hear this stuff daily. It's important for people to be a part of the conversation daily, not just sporadically and kind of throughout the area, if that makes sense. So I appreciate you coming on. Give yourself another plug here as we conclude, because your association, I know you guys are doing some good work down there. So you're the membership director. How can people get in touch with you and join your organization and learn more and become aware?
So, I appreciate it. You can reach out to me through LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn. You can always find my contact information there. My email is Derrick@epicsitesolutions.com. And then I've got my cell phone listed on my profile as well. But, call, text, email, LinkedIn message. If you find me on Facebook, you can, however it is that works for you. I'm highly accessible. I guess I'll put it that way. So it's not hard to get a hold of me if you're interested in learning more. And we'd love to have more members. We're really pushing to grow the organization this year. And, I could go on and on about it, but I appreciate you taking the time to have me on the show. It was very raw. None of this was scripted. All the questions were coming at me hot, and I love what you do with it, man. I think you get the best out of a lot of people that way. So it was a pleasure being on here with you.
Exclusive interview, industry news, environmental innovation at thecrudelife.com. Music heard on the Crude Life Morning Show, Play Hard, Work Hard, is by the Moody River.
Back to the way. Oh, back to the ways, back to the way. Oh, back to the ways, back to the ways. Oh, back to the way.
The Crude Life with Jason Spiess.
Thank you for joining the program today.
I come from an oil background. My family's been in the oil and gas industry for 60 years.
I think the thing with the younger generation is the younger generation has pretty much bought into the climate change phenomena. They really believe everything that people tell them.
We just want to thank everybody that has been so supportive of us, and especially you, Jason. Without your help, I don't think our event would be as successful as it is.
So I don't want to be real critical of them, because being a guy who's, dad has several small businesses and coming from that sort of small business background, I get it. I mean, the operators here were put in a real bad position by the state of North Dakota.
I'm glad that we've got people like you to pay attention and bring us information on stuff like this.
Prices can't go any lower for services. They're too low right now. Our margins are in the single percentage point if we're lucky, and we're not lucky that often.
You're exactly right. ESG is becoming more and more important to shareholders. I can speak for my 20 companies. They take it very serious.
It makes perfect sense, and I thought you had a really good show last week.
Jason, I love your inquisitive questions, because you ask important questions that lead to the most important truths.
Hey, this is Kevin Kramer, representing proudly the state of North Dakota in the United States Senate. Talking to Jason Spiess, who's like the best energy interviewer in the world.
No one does an interview like Jason Spiess.
We all like living the crude life, so.
The Crude Life with host Jason Spiess.
My name is Jason Spiess, and this is the Crude Life Daily Update. On today's episode, we talk with Bill DeRozier and George Stark with Cabot Oil and Gas. They talk about the spike and the acceptance of natural gas right now across Shale Play USA, starting in Pennsylvania.
And it is a cold day out. I think the Susquehanna temperature is probably -2. So the answer is, the vibe is, Jason, very positive for natural gas, because in Pennsylvania, what you're paying at the burner tip is an inexpensive amount. When I look at those folks in New England, they're paying 3, 4, 5, 6 times what we're paying for natural gas. So the Pennsylvanians that I talk to are happy to have exploration and production, and they see it in the abundant, affordable natural gas that we produce.
I hate to say I'm cliche, but the industry in some regards has been its own worst enemy because of the prolific nature of the Marcellus, the Utica Shale, the Basin in North Dakota, the Permian down in Texas. So there have been times where our pricing has been weak, as we like to say in the industry, or light. But definitely one area of the country that continues to see a disparity between the two areas is, in fact, New England and New York. And a lot of that has to do with political decisions, not the prolific production of the Marcellus, 20, 30, 50 miles away. But as George had alluded to, here we are coming off the heels of a snowstorm, prolonged cold temperatures up here in Pennsylvania. It's actually snowing right now as we're talking on this interview, and we're starting to see pricing expand in certain areas. So up in the Boston market area, I was looking at it earlier, they're seeing anywhere between $5 and $11 per MCF. So that's the same MCF, the same volume of gas that George had just mentioned, and we're seeing our gas prices somewhere in the $2.40 to $3.20 range. So you can see, as George alluded to, 2, 3, 4 times the volume or the cost per MCF, and that's not even in a prolonged cold period.
To listen to the full-length interview with Bill DeRozier and George Stark with Cabot Oil and Gas, or to check out other exclusive interviews, visit thecrudelife.com. That's thecrudelife.com. While you're there, check out our morning show, Play Hard, Work Hard. Airs Monday through Friday. From the staff here at the Crude Life Daily Update, my name is Jason Spiess, asking you to always remember, energy is more than an industry, it's a way of life.
The Crude Life is sponsored in part by...
It takes an industry to build a forest. Hey folks, Jason Spiess with The Crude Life. Did you know about half the trees planted in the last 20 to 30 years have died within the first year? Lack of watering, transplant shock, special interest groups, poor growing conditions are just a few reasons it takes an industry to build a forest, and that is exactly what the industrial forest does. Sustainability sheds, critical pipeline systems are implemented to ensure the forest survives and absorbs carbon for decades to come. It takes an industry to build a forest. If you're interested in sustainable forests, growing industry jobs, check out theindustrialforest.com. That's theindustrialforest.com.
Play hard, work hard.